According to the bank clock, it's 9 a.m. I'll call the meeting of the Highway and Transportation Committee to order. I'd like to say good morning to everybody.
Good morning. Joe Baratka. Here. Doug Erickson.
Here.
Paula Hodak.
Here.
Larry Palachuk.
Here.
And Jordan Spacek.
Here.
All are here.
Item number 1, public comment and communications. Anybody? There's no one present for public comment. Anybody online? *6 to unmute yourself. Hearing none. I have no communications. Does anyone on the committee have any? Okay, moving along. Minutes from our August 6th, 2025 meeting. Did Jordan do a good job? It didn't say in there.
Mediocre at best.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Paula, seconded by Joe. Any further discussion?
Just don't make it a habit, Larry, being gone.
Okay, I'll try. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Item 3, construction project update. Your moment in the sun, Roger.
All right. So our county roads, they're scheduled to start paving, putting the binder mats down on Monday. Should everything go well, they're going to move the plant that's up north is going to get moved to 86 after this week. So as far as that's the stance on the county road projects. American is shaping right now, so they're putting the final touches on the roads. So once they get there, they'll be able to start going. County Highway O Bridge, Pier 1 has been poured. It's backfilled, and they pulled the sheeting around it. They started on the second pier, pounding and sheet piling, because they basically block all the water off where they're working. So they dewater it. And then they'll start putting in pilings. They're estimated to start setting beams on the 16th, the center beams in between the two spans. They're currently at 22 working days. So the project's going quite well.
What is your scheduled date? End date on that?
It's scheduled for 65 days, 65 working days. I think the completion date is somewhere in November, actually. By the time, the road's open and they put the guardrail in, asphalt, because the asphalt's going back quite a ways. So the one intersection to the south.
One
east.
other question on that bridge. I had somebody tell me there's no signs on the north end from 8 going down O. I didn't even call you because I didn't believe it. But
I guess I don't know. I would
that's
have
what
to
I was told. There's no signs that there's a bridge out until they get all the way down there. And I thought that's kind of odd if that's the case.
Okay, I'll check that out, verify,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
Okay.
I can't say. State road projects. In town here, Phillips is they're just working on punch list items right now. If there's anything you guys see, let me know. 13 North. What's that? Well, so the manholes, of course, are on the punch list. So a lot of the manholes are going to be readjusted. I gave Jim Peck from Kapoor my thoughts on the whole thing. I put a lot of blame on American as well. I mean, they're coming up to it. They're going to pave. They should. Visually, you can see that the manhole is way too low, as low as some of these are.
Or that one that's too high that Gary says, boy, that looks like a underbody.
Yeah, it's
problem."
I told Jim about that one is going to be a plow catcher. But that is also one that's going to be repaired. But you can actually see where the asphalt has actually settled
Mhm.
already.
I noticed it going through town yesterday. I thought, oh my God, this is what a disaster. Like God.
We have the same thing in Park Falls with low manholes.
Yeah. Oh, man.
a heck of a thump when you hit them with the vehicle.
Yeah, they always seem to be in the wheel track.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
After all the engineering and many years of designing, they just haven't figured out how to keep them on the wheel track. But
I still can't figure out the whole sidewalk stuff too. And I know that's not our deal. That's more of the cities, but just the whole, whoever designed these tripping hazards that they put on
I
every
mentioned- I-
single intersection is just that they really need to, the state needs to know that that's foolish. By the grocery store, they have it. By Birchland Realty, they have it. They have one over here. And then they put grass in the middle of the thing. Like, how, like, I don't know. Like I said, the state needs to realize that this is foolish when they do this kind of stuff. So,
what I told Jim Peck, which I dislike too, was the blunt curve end.
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be that also will be a plow catcher. I mean,
Yeah.
if the city guys are coming around that corner of the intersection with the
100%
wing down, they're going to
agree.
hit it and bust the court. It's either going to bust the curb off or wreck the truck, one
Yep.
of the two.
Yep.
And I told Jim about that too. But
Yeah.
Will that be taken care of?
Jim was going to talk to Chippewa Concrete and possibly put a 45 on the end of those. But the design, I you know, with the whole ADA compliance things, and as it changes, you know, it's their design, how it comes up. It just isn't what you and I feel as
Sometimes real life and on a computer screen are two different things, though. And I think they
Right.
need to really realize that. And it's unfortunate.
It seems like the common sense is all taken out of it.
Oh, it is. It truly is.
I sent a picture and my concerns to the designer because Kapoor was not the designer
No.
on the project. You know, it was MSA was the designer. And I took some pictures and forwarded my thoughts as well on the curb design with the ramps.
I would hate to be, honest to God, I would hate to be a person in a wheelchair to have to use some of them, really, truly.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine it. I just, and maybe you can explain this to me. Why now on these sidewalk access points, do they send you out into the lane of travel? I guess I don't understand that. Like, I mean, by subway, the painted lines actually go out into the highway to get you, you know, off of there by subway. Like it's you no longer cross straight across the street. You actually have to go out and then over, it seems.
Yeah, and I think, you know, in Phillips, that outside lane is not supposed to be intended as a driving lane.
Sure.
You know, that's supposed to be parking. I don't know if there's signs, if it's illegal technically in Phillips to pass on the right, if you're supposed to or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
But that outside lane is not designed to be
Yeah.
a driving lane.
Yeah. But no, it just, like I said, the engineers need to really look at this and hopefully do something.
13 to the north of Park Falls. The only thing that's really left on that is pull some silt fence and then put in the snowmobile crossings, the elastomeric crossings. I think there's two to the north, three, I think. One by the airport road, one by Quick Trip, and then one further north. Park Falls, they're supposed to have that wrapped up as far as asphalt goes this week. And then punch list items after that as well. 111 is also close to being done. The asphalt should be done middle of this week, and then they'll just have shouldering left on there and punch list items. 102, they've started on that. There's some culvert replacements. And they're gonna do a little grading down by Moore's Bar, way down in the bottom by Spirit Lake, where there were some water issues, some drainage issues there. Otherwise, they're not supposed to start paving that until they're at least done with our binder on our projects. Yeah.
Was 111 just a mill and fill, or did they, how
It-
extensive did they grind it?
It was basically a mill and fill, but with wedges. So in like the bad spots, they milled it, and then they would wedge in the bad spots and then overlaid it. Just one coat. It wasn't as quite as extensive as this stuff here.
And, you know, talking about 111, should we be doing something with the state on that for safety at that intersection? There's been quite a few fatalities there over the years.
Yeah, so I had some conversations with individuals at the DOT. We as a county decided that we are just going to, at this point, we are gonna update the signage. We're gonna go to two stop signs on each side of 111, LED flashing on 111 and Little Chicago Road. We're also gonna double up on stop aheads with, so on the post, they have reflective signs that you put on the post as well. So we're gonna do that. And the DOT is gonna come in and reevaluate everything as well. Talking to Tony, the DOT is, they're not speedy by no means, but we as a county decided we're gonna do that for the first.
The traffic safety committee will be talking about it not this quarter, but next quarter. They requested that, Tony requested to have it on the agenda for traffic safety. It's where this kind of stuff gets talked about. However, with it being so new of an accident, the investigation's not over, so it's very difficult to talk about that type of stuff publicly with it and truly be able to talk about it. So between everybody, it's going to go on the next. Do you have a December one? When's your next? I think
December, I
it's
think.
December. So that's when they'll talk further on above and beyond what the county's already chose to do.
And I would assume by then the DOT will have their findings available for everybody to share.
Okay, well, thanks for looking into that and rattling their cage a little bit.
Yep.
Anything else, Roger?
Well, that should be it for projects.
Okay, I'll accept the construction project update. Number 4, equipment fund.
But discussions with Nick and Carrie.
Yeah, so this one's just kind of a general discussion on equipment fund. We've had one now for several years. We've kind of established that the current equipment fund is make sure we get one truck paid for, and then any little kind of a trailer
Or pickup or something.
pickup truck, something that we can fit in that's small. So it's replenished mostly by depreciation. So the newer our equipment gets, which we've been buying big trucks a year, it really does help because it does put additional funding in there. But that also means we got to budget additional funding because that's where that money comes from. Going forward, we know we need to address yellow equipment. We kind of have some ideas about that through the equipment fund that or the next couple items, 6, 7, 8, and 9. But just, is there any thought from the committee? I mean, the equipment fund is working. It's just changed from its original intent of, this was for everything we ever needed. And because of the cost, when we started this, I think a truck was $150,000. Now we're at $350,000. Well, $200,000 of other equipment was a lot to not be able to handle. So is that how you guys want us to approach it? Do we redo the whole equipment fund to try to figure it out? Or do we continue to work with that borrowing, going back to, Larry, you've been around for 2-3 years. So we used to borrow for all of our equipment. Then we got into this equipment fund, which helped because then we didn't have to argue with the board to say we need money. But now we're getting back to, okay, the one truck is there, but everything else becomes that discussion as a whole. Does that work? Does that not work?
Well, one thing I can see that's happening to us is, our equipment fund is down in here and it doesn't raise, but equipment is always going up higher every year than what our equipment fund can compensate for. But we are starting to get a handle on things out there.
Yeah. And the more equipment we buy outside the equipment fund is where we make up that difference. So like you said, the equipment fund was pretty much stagnant and saying, okay, it can afford that truck and it can afford a trailer with whatever equipment and the little trucks, the pickups. But the cost went real fast and the depreciation didn't catch up. But now that we're making a truck payment or we're purchasing a truck outside the equipment, we did the grader outside the equipment fund.
Tractor.
We did a tractor outside the equipment fund. That all depreciates into that equipment fund, which makes up a huge gap because it's approximately 1/9 of everything you purchase goes in there every year, saying you should be replacing it within that 8 to 12 years.
When we bought those three trucks that were rentals, it was a Band-Aid for a while, but
Yeah, and I think we've covered that now with the extra
Yeah.
borrow. But again, it's borrowing. So every year you'll see it on the next executive agenda and then the full board. You have to make sure it's borrowing. So even more than that, 10 out of 12 or 10 out of 13 board members say yes. And we got into that problem years ago where we bought the truck and then all of a sudden we came forward and said, okay, we want to borrow for it. And the board said no. We had to use cash. So then we changed our process to say, okay, before you give permission to buy, we have to have the resolution in place to borrow. You know, right now everybody understands this is why we're doing it.
So just my thoughts on it. The equipment fund, I think we definitely want to keep going with that concept. And as the depreciation comes up, obviously that fund's going to come up. The one thing I'm concerned about more so on the approval by the full board is the yellow equipment borrowing for not so much the yellow equipment like a grader, a shoulder machine, tractor, but putting things in there like traffic lights, skid steer, things that I think the equipment fund should take care of those things. So if we have to readjust the equipment fund to have more funding in there, because I think if we lump too much stuff into the yellow equipment fund, that's where we're going to have the problem that we had in the past, where it becomes a popularity contest. Okay, we need money for human services. We need money for law enforcement. We need money for forestry. Now it becomes a competition between departments who can get the money. Whereas if you set that up in the equipment fund so that you can have that, then you have those core things, and the graders and things like that are on that plan with the borrowing. That's just my
And I
thoughts.
think we're doing that without us knowing we're doing it, or it's not talked about, because so like the grader that we bought was what, 400, 420, whatever it was. We divide that by 9 usually because it's 9 years, and 1/9 of that payment goes into the equipment fund, which makes up some of the inflation that we're doing with that one big truck. But it also then says, okay, every year we should have an extra $20,000 to do something. Well, if after 2 years, then you buy the skid steer because you have 40 after 2 years. So we're doing it without,
But-
every time you buy that outside. And so that equipment needs to be put in that equipment fund as a purchase necessary using those funds.
Right, and what I'm getting at is, if I'm reading this right, it's showing the skid steer and traffic lights and that and the yellow equipment and only trucks and the other. So what the board members are gonna see is now we're going from an equipment fund that we have established to borrowing for all this other stuff, where depreciation is gonna feed that fund more. What are we doing with that extra funding in the equipment fund if we've got this stuff on the yellow iron? So I totally agree. We need the equipment. We need to figure out the way to do it, but I would like to try to stay as much in the equipment fund than having to go ask for borrowing money every time we want.
Yeah,
a
and I
skid
think
steer
that'll be
or a
the,
disc binder.
that's good to know, because
something
I
like
think that for like Roger, that's kind of the trajectory, right? Today we can't, right? We can't get that skid steer, we can't get that extra. But eventually those things, like you said, should be transferred back because we're purchasing and depreciating at a higher rate. So that's good for us to know perceptive what, like today it's not going to work, but in 2 years, 3 years, there's a chance it starts to transition that way.
Would it look better if a plow truck was on we have the plow truck in with the new equipment? Do you put some of the smaller ticket items and put the plow truck on the yellow equipment?
I wouldn't. I think the intent of the equipment fund was the plow trucks. It's just they
Yeah.
got out of inflation. Got it.
So do we need to redefine
No, I don't think
specifically what
today.
these funds are?
I don't think so today, I think that's knowing that's where we're going. That's what we need to work towards. Because defining it today is gonna be tough, right? Like all you're gonna do is define it today, and then all of a sudden 2 years from now, we're not hitting what we need to. Right now, it's working towards a goal, which is to get more equipment out of the equipment fund based on depreciation, which is your skid steers, your smaller equipment needs to get back in there, and I think we can do that long term.
So,
What?
go ahead.
No.
So how do we change that when when, let's say, we make a decision here for borrowing, and then a couple years later, you have a change of people on your boards, and is there no verbiage that we can put in those?
No, I mean, you could, there are ways, right? There's ways where you could say, you make a resolution that we guarantee we're borrowing for one truck at one truck per year, no matter what, going forward. That resolution would stay in place until another board came along. So you'd be saving each year's board some work, right? And then, but all of a sudden you get a changeover in board and they go, whoa, why are we borrowing for this truck? Oh, we have a resolution 20-25. And they go, cool, we want to rescind that. So you could put it in place, but that's where I think disgruntled boards start coming about, because you're future casting. You're saying, board in the future, I don't care who you are, I'm telling you what to do, rather than re-educating, rediscussing, deciding if it's necessary. That's when they get upset, is you force them to do something and they don't get to make a choice.
But then you've kind of put the board into a sticky wicket as far as financial securities. I mean, suddenly you now are, okay, now where do we come up with this money that the project isn't finished, or I don't know. I
And that's
just
where we
wondered
need
if-
to be educating, right? Like, hey, you can choose not to borrow for this new truck, but then we get into a situation where we fall behind on the trucks and
And that's kind of what Paul had mentioned, was my concern too, with having it on the yellow equipment side of it, borrowing instead of in the equipment fund plan is, one, it puts a onus on the board, but then it puts a strain on the commissioner and our leadership on how do you plan?
Right.
If you're planning according to what the given board at the time is going to vote on for the next budget, you've got to be planning out 2 years in advance already. We know this. So I would like to see something where and I know it's hard, and we got to get to that point, but something where the majority of our essential equipment, our plow trucks, things to load the plow trucks, things that we absolutely have to do for public safety, are in the equipment fund. The other stuff that we have to do to operate are in the yellow iron fund, to where if we can't get that funding, at least the commissioner has an opportunity. I've got a project, I'm going up and I'm going to lease a grader for 2 months because I have to get this project done. Where you can't go lease a plow truck for 2 months. So I would, in my eyes, I'd like to see the essential stuff in the equipment fund, and then the stuff we need to operate on a daily basis that we could do something different in the yellow iron fund. I guess just my.
yeah. And the only caution with that is if you're creating a division, saying then you're making it much easier for a board to go, well, they could do it other ways, instead of saying this is a better way to do it. And then it creates almost more stress on us as staff to say, okay, we need to educate you why it's a better way to purchase it rather than lease it and do all that. I think we're getting to where you're talking, where it's, as we grow that equipment fund by buying stuff outside the equipment fund, that'll be a huge change in the next 2-3 years. As long as prices don't keep going
Right.
through the roof. I mean, we got to keep up with that alone.
Yeah, and after the conversation here, what's your thoughts, Roger, after hearing kind of what we're saying? You're the guy that's got to deal with this, so I
I know.
don't want to be throwing something out there you're not in agreement with, so.
No, and I do know that this equipment fund is growing, so as far as what we could potentially buy, in the future, I think this dollar amount's going to change a lot, and some of these other items, these smaller items, would be moved into the equipment fund. What I honestly, what I don't like is the fact that I'm spending money that I don't know what I'm going to have, right? So I'm projecting, I have Sarah trying to give me a projection of how much money we're going to have at the end of the year in our equipment fund, because I don't know. What I'd rather work with is,
A set dollar amount.
right,
That
say,
doesn't work that way.
I don't like that.
Hey, if you want to see a messed up budget, come to the marsh. I'll show you a messed up budget.
right. Yeah, it would just be so much simpler. It's like, okay, Roger, this is how much money you have to spend on on equipment this year.
That would make it too easy, Roger. Now
I-
you wouldn't have to stress.
I know.
Roger, would you like him removed? I know people next door that
Okay.
One thing I do agree with Joe, where it's like everything's 2-3 years out, and you don't know what your board's going to be. But when you guys pass this 5-year plan, what it does, there's a couple things that it does, right? Where the 2026 group goes with the budget, because that's a policy you guys approve. Is we're budgeting this. This is the policy. Everybody needs to follow this budgetary policy. 2026 is in there. We now give permission to take stuff from 26 or the next 5 years, the plan, move them around, because we know that some years it's easier to get something, or it might not be, or we need it for a project. The 5-year plan is really telling that future board that we've looked at this, we've discussed this, we think it's important to stay on track. And so you might not get the money, but if you have the right plan, it should be easy for them to understand why we're continuing with the money. Like every year, Carrie and I come up and go, cool, we retired $500,000 in debt. We're recommending based on this plan. Makes sense. You guys have already seen it for the last 3 years because it's been there every year. We're recommending to borrow that 500. It should be a no-brainer, right? It should just be, it works. Now, if Health and Human Services goes through the roof, or the Sheriff's Department goes, oh my gosh, we need 5 more cars, that's where the discussion happens. But I do believe this board, the full board has said, here's a 5-year plan. We're already borrowing. Let's maintain that. You'd have to have a pretty big switch of, I mean, you would have to have 6 board members switch over to say, nope, I don't want this plan. And then it's like, but they've already approved this plan prior year. You're almost creating that. I already agree with it prior year, or for the last 5 years, on what the plan is.
I think we got a good course. Like it says, the main thing is to stay in that equipment plan as much as we can. So those situations
Yeah,
that
that's
come
good to
up, the
know.
commissioners already made those decisions based on that equipment plan, that we're not getting into that position.
I'm gonna agree with Joe on that too. I think that's where most of the equipment needs to be coming out of, and it's just the big purchases out of that yellow equipment.
Yeah, and we'll move towards, yeah, I agree. We'll get there.
one thing that would help if we could get the whole county board to look at some of our equipment. But, you know, when we have a road tour or something, it's always the highway committee that's there.
Yeah.
I was up at Lulich Equipment and I looked at that mower that we traded in. It was completely junk.
It had 10 more years of service in it.
10 years ago, it was that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly.
But if you
what
want a good
that's
deal, go to
exactly what my
Lulich for it.
father-in-law said when I told him we finally retired one. He's like, "When I retired, that thing should have been toast." I'm like, "Yeah, that was about 10 years ago."
But if you want a good deal, Larry, the piece of equipment's up there and it's a good deal, right?
Lulich hasn't sold it yet, then I take it.
There was a price tag on it, 20,000 something.
Yeah.
Only $18.95 more than it's worth.
So that's the reason we want to talk about equipment fund. It's good guidance saying this year it is what it is, because you could change it, but this is what we had to come up with in order to maintain, keep things going. But I like that idea of, as it grows, we need to get things off of that potential purchasing of yellow equipment onto the equipment fund. So maybe it is keep a truck there, maybe it's not keep, but this is the stuff we need to get onto that equipment fund.
Yeah, I guess as you look at it, I mean, instead of calling it yellow equipment, it should just be additional needed equipment program, I guess.
Yeah.
But
It grew from, it was supposed to
To
be
have
a
somebody
yellow,
paint
yeah.
something yellow on it.
That was what we named it, because it was outside the general equipment we were buying, or the truck. I think we thought it was going to be the grader, the front loader, and then it was like, well, we actually need it's really an additional needs
right.
equipment needs fund. How much do you want to fund it?
Yeah, it's a living document. I definitely know exactly what you guys are, what
Or we could
Roger's
call it
dealing with. And
large equipment fund, something like that.
And when you're talking these dollars, he needs to have that, I don't want to call it an absolute, but he needs to know that he's got what he's got. And I struggled with that too. Hey, Sarah, how much I got? Well, that all depends.
Right.
It's
How
like,
much work you're gonna do to put money into, not you, but like how much equipment's gonna be working, which puts money into it, how much did you have for depreciation, how much, projects, it's,
and what's the absolute dollar amount when you're making these plans? And you just don't know that in this
No.
situation. And that's tough. So.
Yeah, the only thing you
Like
could do-
Jordan says, you gotta have some stress, I guess, right, Jordan?
Yep. Yep. Roger, I don't see it on here, and I know we talked about it past a couple of times as a tanker truck for Brian.
There is one on there.
Where did I miss it?
28, 29.
Yeah, triaxle water truck, 27.
27. Hey, I was off.
Well, so the water truck would technically, it would be either or, right? So do you have the second sheet?
Do I not have the right ones? Oh, I wasn't deep enough in the list.
One
Oh,
thing,
it was on that
Joe,
one. Okay.
I think you,
Okay.
when, or
So, yeah,
Larry,
so
when it was
that
like
that's the
okay.
yellow equipment
committee
one that
members
we
or
talked-
board members
got into
understanding what the
traffic
equipment
lights,
can do and
traffic
what,
lights.
Yeah, I got
like
Gotcha.
the boom
Yeah,
mower,
okay.
for example.
Looking at the
We
wrong
had the
one.
one, we were doing the job, it works, but
It's
the
on
new
there.
boom mower can go twice as fast. So we're getting twice
that
as much
I
work
was
done in the same
anticipating
amount
a
of time,
huge-
which is
Back to
huge,
effic-
right?
efficiency.
You know,
Yep. Back
all
to
the equipment
efficiency.
brings, not all of it, a lot of it brings efficiencies that we don't think of until you're out on the road.
Cause a milk truck would actually be ideal
Yeah.
too, you know. Yeah. But yeah, if you look at the Mac, it's in pretty tough shape.
Oh, no, yeah. Okay, so at what point in time could we not pull a dump truck off of service to convert it? You know what I mean? You know, to put a tank
Yeah,
on one
I do,
At-
so.
at the age that it's met it didn't meet its road life expectancy, but yet it's still got good life left for that service, you know?
All right, so,
We got a good used truck there already.
yeah,
That
So,
Mac's
like-
almost as old as you, Larry.
Good and used.
Yeah.
so like, as it stands now, so we have like, our spares and then two additional ones that are just set up to haul all the time,
Yeah.
that we don't put plow equipment on. And by the time they get to that point,
It's
they're
too late.
not in very good
Okay.
shape no more, so.
Just a question.
And it might be, Jordan, it might be 6 years from now.
Sure.
And a lot of that is changing because we're buying 2 guaranteed trucks a year, where in the past we were buying 1 or none. So they had to get to that point to get to just be that haul truck or that extra. Where now with your comment about like, okay, do you convert one? Well, when you're buying 2 a year at
The rate
you
we're
might
going.
have a nicer truck at year 10 to do that, or year 9.
Just, I don't know that the Mac's gonna hold in there long enough to get to that point, that
Yeah.
we convert another truck over.
It'll get to where it's not safe to put on the road.
Correct, yeah.
Well, I think you have your marching orders, Nick. You and Carrie.
Thank you.
That's okay. You can always get good advice at this committee meeting. Okay, does anybody else have anything for the equipment fund? Item number 5, resolution, termination of gravel and marl deposits reservation.
I know this came back to us because they didn't want to pay the fee that was associated with the acreage.
Yeah, so when we looked further into this, it's not just here you go, you can have it based on our past practice. It looks the last one we did, we charge, was it $50 an acre to
Yep.
release the marl rights, which most people were doing a 40 acre, so it was that 2,000-ish. This individual's doing
280 acres.
280 acres, so it's
Four-
$14,000. So they're saying, I don't want to pay $14,000, but I still want the marl rights back. So I don't know if this committee wants to reestablish what the rate is, or change the rate, or review it. Like I said, past practice was $50 an acre, and so your 40 was $2,000.
I'll tell you where this started. It was a question that Bob Kopish brought up on, why don't we charge for marl rights? And he strapped Dick Schneider, who was the chairman at the time, with the task of coming up with a monetary amount for releasing of the Marl rights. And I know several people that have just paid it and been done with it, but my thought on it is if you can afford to buy 280 acres, you can certainly afford another 14,000 to get the Marl rights, or you can just leave the Marl rights on there with Price County. It would look pretty bad if somebody was fronting the money for that, for a big construction company, and they came in there and opened up a big gravel pit. I don't know what the land is, but
I don't know neither. I just looked at it on the GIS and
yeah. The first time we did this was a 40 off of White Rock Road. And it was, had been in the family for a couple generations, and nobody was living around here anymore. And the one that was in charge of the estate just wanted to relinquish. He wanted the Marl rights relinquished so it would look more attractive to sell. But it was in an area where there could be darn good gravel. And that's when it came up that we'd look pretty foolish if, you know, a large construction company just fronted the money and then came in and opened up a gravel pit. Joe?
I would agree with you, Larry. And it sounds like this fee was established quite a few years ago.
I would say late
was involved
90s.
with it. Yeah. So what's land value done since the 90s? And that value is going to be recouped off those sales. I don't, if anything, we should be readjusting our fee to account for values, which I'm not proposing at all. But I'm not in the mindset that we reduce it just because of the amount of acreage. The more acreage you have, the more value the land is. That it was set. That's my opinion.
Doug, you're involved in construction with the township. What are your thoughts?
Well, I actually think you should be raising it. I mean, you think how far this $50 an acre went. So I don't think we're in the wrong by leaving it where it's at. You know.
Paula?
Had this discussion earlier and totally feel like that this, I mean, so, okay, somebody has 5 acres, it's not going to be much. But if you're going to own a lot of land, you're going to end up paying more for it. So, yeah.
Well, if I may, Mr. Chair, my 2 cents is I agree with everything that's been said. And I will add that it's not fair to the people that have paid it in the past.
Right, exactly.
I mean,
Precedent has been set.
yes.
Yes.
Jordan, what are you thinking?
Nick's
See
just
the
pulling
gears
it.
turning.
Nick's just pulling it up just to see on a map. You know, I didn't look up the exact description or whatever, so he was just pulling up. I was just curious where it is at exactly.
So why did the county own these rights? What was?
A lot of them at one time were let go for tax title,
Oh, okay.
and it was just an automatic thing. This is what we were told, that the county,
Yeah,
when they sold the land, would retain the Marl rights.
and such as railroad also.
Yeah.
Did that. Yeah. So is there lots of property out there that we still own those rights?
I have no idea. Unless he went through the register of deeds and they dug through records, maybe.
They won't know until you sell the property, basically.
Right. But I think that's what this individual wanted to do, was sell this and
Sell
then
this and get the
clean it
rights.
up. Yeah, I think he was looking to just maybe pay $150 for some paperwork. You know, file paperwork.
It's gonna increase his value 14,000.
Yeah.
You're right.
My understanding is the individual is looking to gift the properties to his kid or give
Oh,
them to
okay.
Sits in
kids.
a living trust.
Yeah.
I too agree. I mean, it's unfortunately it's precedence, but like you said, if you've got 280 acres of land, I mean, yeah, you know,
Yeah.
$14,000 to some people is a lot with a little bit of land, but when you have that much, I mean, it like I said, it's unfortunate that that's
I'll
the
buy that 40 for 24,000.
yeah dollar amount. So I think we just need to leave it as is at the $50. And if they want that taken care of, well, then they need to come up with the money to do so, unfortunately.
Or leave it on there.
Yep. Yeah. Or just leave it on there and pass it along as is. But like you said, we'd look very foolish if took those rights off of there and all of a sudden American Asphalt opened a 100-acre pit and in it and,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
whatnot. And yeah, so.
Okay, what is your pleasure on the resolution?
So you can do nothing and it just fails. It just goes away. You can motion to table it, which puts it on the table. And then as soon as the meeting's done, it's gone. Postpone would be look at it at a different meeting, which doesn't sound like that's what you're
I
looking.
think it says it here in the, be it further resolved that in the case of non-performance by the applicant within the aforementioned 45-day period, this resolution shall become null and void. So I guess,
So you could approve it as stated.
Yeah.
If he wants to pay the 14,000.
Yeah.
Which we did last meeting, correct?
Well, you guys said it was okay to go forward, but now this would be the resolution to say, yep, this is what it's gonna be. And then like Larry read, if they don't complete the task within, you said 45, then it would just be no good. So yes, you could, if you don't want to give away the mayoral rights, you do nothing. If you're okay with $50 or whatever established, you would pass it. It would go to full board. From full board, they'd have 45 days to decide whether or not they wanted to pay the 14,000.
I'll make a motion to pass this resolution.
I'd second that motion with the, as described before, with the $50 fee in there and the 45-day language.
motion by Doug, seconded by Joel. Any further discussion? I guess we've all expressed our opinions on it. Call for the question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I think it's important that we stayed with that. And like Brian said, you know, for the people in the past that paid it, are they going to want money back or have to try and be fair? Okay, item 6, 2026 road construction equipment and facilities plan.
So in front of you, you should have several lists of equipment. What Roger provided was all, it would be 6 years and 4 years. So and then the road construction, I believe, is 5 years. So what you have to do as a committee is look at them, just 2026 on those lists and say, yep, this is what we want to include in the budget. We'll double check that those numbers are in the budget currently before it goes to the full board to be approved. But you're recommending all the 2026 stuff that would go in the budget or go forward to try to be in the budget. When we move to the next couple items, that's approving the long-term plans. So 27 through 31, which would be equipment. So 5 more years, and then 27 through 29, which would be facilities. So they're all on they're on the same list for all from 26 through whatever year. So you'll be looking at them separately. For the board, we'll separate them. So for the resolution, will be 27 through 31 and 27 through 29 for the equipment and facilities, but you still have to recommend a 2026 equipment budget for the board. For the full budget, if that makes sense.
All gets on the board and look at all that Emery paving.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't resist on that one.
Yep.
You know what they say, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy.
yeah.
Got to make sure those miles to the meetings are nice and smooth.
So Roger, I don't know if you have anything with the 2026. I mean, they've kind of seen it. It does adjust, but
Yeah, it is. So next year, the projection is to do 18 miles. So it'd be 3 more additional miles than we did this year. We have some additional funds that are going in with it. We have HISP funds, some CHI-D, CHI-S funds to go with those 2 projects. So that's why we're kind of getting the additional miles out of this year. The equipment, we kind of went over the equipment. Facilities plan, that's just basically upkeeping on what we have.
The only thing I don't see on I know it's highway for 27 is I don't see anything for County D.
So D,
road work for
Right.
the 28 year.
yeah, so I did County D, you're saying from 8 north.
North, yeah.
So I just applied for a FLAP grant for that. My fingers are crossed that we'll get that FLAP grant. So if we don't get the FLAP grant, then I will ultimately, I will change that.
Sure. For 27, you'll change the construction stuff. Okay.
We have time for that stuff, but
Yep,
it's,
that's fine. I
That-
the rest of them are all in there and I just wanted to double check. Just to
Yeah.
make sure.
Don't forget S is in the.
right. S isn't in there neither. I was,
And then
I don't know. Have you drove D? Have you drove D from 8 to 8 north there?
I do have a question on Highway C. He's got to Warner Road. There's a 1.5 miles that has not been done in between there. I'm just questioning why we're not going to where it was done 10 years ago, but there's a section that's not been ever done over there.
like I told you, Doug, I mean, we got as far as I could with the funds we got. I could put it in there and ask for additional funds for the extra 1.5 miles, or
The only reason is, I mean, we want to stay in the area in which I've noticed a lot of these, you are doing complete roads.
Oh yeah,
And I'm just thinking why we would leave a mile, I don't know if it's 1.5 miles or 2 miles, but whatever it is of the section that hasn't been done.
all right. So I think that was in conjunction with, either J or N. I mean, with the mileage and the money that takes up, I had enough funds for.
I guess I just asked that you look to see if we can complete that project so we aren't leaving 1.5 miles not completed.
And then it could be possible, I guess, that year. I mean, when we come forward, it's just like,
I
okay,
don't know,
we're gonna ask,
27, 28, I don't know what year it is. It's
right.
It's in here.
And we could request additional funds that year to go that additional 1.5 miles, 2 miles.
Yes, it is
whatever.
27.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make a
What's a-
motion to approve or recommend the 26 road construction equipment and facilities plan.
I do have one other question. Loader. Did we just buy one loader and this will be another loader?
We have
Um,
3 total.
We have 3 total. Yep.
So this would be another one?
So it would replace,
The case.
no, there's another cat that's,
Oh, the 962.
no, it's a 9,
Oh, that is a 950, ain't it?
it is a 950, so it's sitting out. The forestry is actually currently using it.
Yeah.
right now.
Yep.
And how old is that loader? I mean, it's old.
It's old, yeah. I mean, if you look at it, I mean, it's in tough shape.
And you load salt out there. I mean, because years ago you had 3 places you were loading salt from. And now we've converted to, we just load salt in one spot.
2 spots, so technically in the Phillips, right at the shop there, we,
And
generally the
shop
case sits there.
And on at the salt shed.
Yeah, but so like when we have all these multiple projects in the summertime, we have, it's even hard pressed to have one loader around at the shop or even the sand, so this year we've been jockeying one loader between the shop, the salt shed and the pit. Cause we have one loader down south, the forestry has one right now. So I mean, they do get scattered around.
Mhm.
It's not like we don't need them.
Right.
I mean, in the winter time, yes, it's maybe, one probably does sit idle in the winter. Yeah.
I envisioned the airport one sitting idle in the summer, but you're technically not supposed to use it for highway.
Well, technically the area is attached.
How far are we out on that airport for snow removal equipment?
When I talked to Andy, he thought that it should be coming in October.
Oh,
Oh.
it's in the near forecast
Yeah.
after 5 years. 4 years.
So my thought, Brian, if it's on airport property. Which is the subject. See how it works.
May or may not have been.
So I got a question too here that just popped in my head. So what we're approving or recommending to send to the full board for the equipment plan, is that the equipment plan including the plan for yellow iron that's attached?
No,
No,
so
it's just the equipment.
just the
plan.
2026 road construction equipment and facilities. So the equipment plan one. The yellow equipment we'll talk about here in a second for 2026, but those are the three.
So what we're approving for 2026 and what we're doing right now is supervisor truck, triaxle, and the winter package and body hydraulics,
Correct.
correct?
And a road project.
And then,
Yeah, but I'm just talking
yeah.
equipment.
Equipment, yeah.
Right, yep. I'm just making sure that I'm understanding this right. So,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, and like I said, for the board, we'll separate all 2026 because that'll go in the budget where the other stuff will go on under the resolution.
Okay.
So does the additional truck by borrowing, that doesn't become a part of a resolution at all or anything? like
No,
that?
because that's
That's
a
additional
borrowing
outside.
resolution. Yeah, we make it easy for everybody.
That's just what I was making sure we're
Yes, that
approving
truck
what we're
is still-
approving, and so when we get questions later, we know exactly what
Yeah.
we just.
So you guys have recommended an extra truck. That goes to executive. Executive has the resolution for borrowing, so that's not in the equipment plan. You could put it on a 2026 equipment list, but it is borrowed outside of the
Yeah,
equipment.
it's on there as a borrowed item, the additional one.
Yeah, yep, okay.
Okay, the motion is to approve the 2026 road construction equipment and facility plans and pass it on to full board. Motion by Jordan, seconded by Doug. Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Okay, so then one more thing with the 2026, because it's not something that we're required to do in our budget and our resolutions, but was the yellow equipment list. So what we're recommending and what is going to executive is you as a board passed a resolution to borrow up to $3.1 million, spend up to $3.1 million during this whole year. My understanding, but working with Roger and Sarah and Carrie, is that we spent about 2.8 million, maybe a little less, give or take a couple bucks of construction money. So when we write the resolution to actually borrow the money at executive, what we're going to be clearly defining, and this is where we got a little, that's why it came back, is we're going to do $2.8 million in construction to pay ourselves back. And then because we already put it fits into the budget based on prior years borrowing, the difference between what we need to pay ourselves back for construction and what we agreed that would go to the borrowing debt, we'll take that and put it towards yellow equipment. So there'll be about $300,000, $400,000 that will be used to start purchasing stuff on that list. And then that's how we'll break it out. We've now established that you guys are comfortable with $3.1 million in construction, and now we're changing it to construction and yellow equipment. A lot of the yellow equipment's used for those projects. So when we first started, we did the grade all in there. We use some of those things in there. So we're being more transparent, because that was one of the issues that we were having is, keep borrowing the 3.1. We've already established that, but we weren't really explaining to the public what that 3.1 was going to. So
I'm gonna disagree with you on that, Nick. On what we say we borrow for construction projects, I think needs to go towards our roads. I think that needs to go towards our roads. That's our construction that the people are seeing. I think if we start putting our equipment in there, our road projects could shorten and our equipment could get
Yeah.
more.
And we're not taking it out of it because we always borrow afterwards. So his crew did as much construction as they could this year, which was 2.8. So
Yeah,
then
I
we're
think
saying,
you're
let's
getting a
reimburse.
Shaky line there, taking the money that was borrowed for construction projects, taking the leftover going for equipment.
Yeah. Then the other side of it should be if we shouldn't, well, we could establish a construction fund, I suppose, but you would say, okay, take the 3.1, but then 400,000 would go into a construction fund for future, which then you could lower the next year's construction fund and do yellow equipment, say we're going to borrow 2.8 next year and 4. So it's all of I know what you're saying, but
Yeah.
What about putting a percentage number on it, saying like 8% or 10% of net borrowing of new construction or, road improvement goes into a fund?
yeah, and we're just trying to be more transparent, saying we did only do 2.8 million. We said we were going to try to do 3.1. We didn't get there. So we want to continue to borrow that, which if we don't borrow it, you could say we're doing this is what we're saying is $2.8 million for construction reimbursement and $300,000 for yellow equipment. And then next year we're going to say, okay, up to whatever he has on the list, 3.1 million is what we debt for. How do we want to distribute it? I know what you're saying is next year could be, okay, we're going to do 2.7 in construction and 400,000. But then if we don't do it that way, then we have to come up with, do you want to raise the total debt levy, which raises the total levy more than the 1%?
So I kind of like what Jordan just mentioned about a certain percentage of our construction debt being able, not shall, but able to be used for yellow equipment purchase. And my thought process on that is that the yellow equipment we're purchasing is to support
It's
that
supporting the
capital
project, yeah.
improvements. And it gives the opportunity that is tied into the capital improvement funding to where it's not asking for additional debt just for equipment. And then if we fall short because we find out that we have additional roads we have to do, extra 1.5 miles in Prentice, then we can look at the yellow equipment side of it as an additional borrowing item separately. But this way we keep the equipment in a designated program, whether it be the equipment fund or whether it be the capital improvement fund. They're both designated programs, so it's easy to sell, let's call it, that this is what we need to function. And if we need something outside of that 400,000 because of a percentage, so 3.1 million we're borrowing every year, whatever 400,000 is percentage wise of that 3.1 is authorized to be used for equipment, then.
And that's kind of what we're saying. We're just not putting numbers on it because we authorized 3.1 of construction.
Right.
The actual
But
number
what-
is 2.61 is what we got done.
Right.
So do you want to not borrow the 3.1, which would make the levy go down 1 year, but then we're saying, okay, you get 3.1 again, it could go up the following year by 400,000, or we've established 3.1 in the budget. Do you want to do something different with the difference in?
It's
budget?
exactly what you're saying, but what Doug is saying is to relay that to the public so they understand what we're doing. All they're gonna see is, oh, they got this for roads and they're not putting it into roads, they're buying equipment. So it's the messaging.
Yeah, and that's why we brought
how
it
it's
back.
explained.
Yep, that's why we brought
Both
it
the
back.
same process, just how you explaining it.
What did the borrowing resolution say? Up to?
3.1 million.
It said up to.
Yep, up to 3.1. So
Well-
we always borrow afterwards. This is the one unique spot because otherwise we'd be paying interest on 3.1.
No, I understand that, but
So we always use our cash, and at the end of the year, we replenish our cash. We could replenish 3.1 million because we're saying, yep, we want to continue to do other stuff. That's what we've already put in the budget for next year. Doesn't mean it's approved. We still have to approve that loan. So we're saying we want to approve it this year at 2.7, 2.61. And then, but still what was in the budget is 3.1, market, re-explain to the citizens, cool.
reallocate.
Not even reallocate, because we haven't borrowed it. You could just borrow the 2.6, we covered our costs, we paid ourselves back. But because we've established this levy, let's use that for what our other needs are, which you could call it a percentage of
Well,
construction, or you could, it just fits within.
I think we
the
should
bound.
we should just borrow what we spend. and then bring it back and, okay, we didn't spend what we thought we were going to, then have additional approval to spend that money.
And that's what we're technically doing. We're gonna borrow.
But then we're 2 meetings behind.
No. That's what we're already doing at at executive. We're saying we have to reimburse ourselves at least 2.61 million.
You can't just take that 3.1 million and keep rolling it over every year either, because prices always change.
Right.
I would
We just said
borrow
that's
what
the
we
cap.
Borrow
Yeah.
what we spend, and if we didn't spend everything that we could have,
Yeah, we cap it. So the 3.1 is a cap. Roger, do everything you can on the list, but don't go over 3.1. This year we did everything we could. It's 2.61. We're saying, okay, that's what we're borrowing, but we've established prior years that we did 3.1. Do you want the levy to go up and down, or do we want to say, what do we want to do with that additional levy that's not being used for construction this year? And we're recommending yellow equipment because then we don't have to go above and beyond the levy. Now, next year, we've said 3.1 again. If he comes back and does 2.9, we only have
You're doing more
200,000.
miles next year, you just said.
Doing 18 miles next year.
Yeah, so like the cap is still gonna be 3.1. We're keeping the cap. That's what you guys are approving, is a cap of 3.1. They do whatever they can. We borrow what he did and then take the difference and say, what do you want to do as a executive committee / full board? So we are
is
creating.
that 3.1 in perpetuity, or does that has to be?
That's what was requested as.
That
the
was
cap.
requested at the time.
Yep.
What?
Well, we originally started at 1 and then went 1.5 and 2
But
and
increases in that have to be approved in
Yep,
that 3.1.
yep, so we're
it's
doing-
it's a 3.1 until the board changes it.
yes.
No, every year the board reapproves that 3.1. What's your
Every year.
construction cap? Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's the base that it's always been.
Yeah.
And-
Not all, the
and
last
not-
2 years, but yeah.
Well, yeah, and like Jordan says, first it was 1 and then it was 1.5, and that was the plan, was ramping up.
Joe really stuck his neck out asking
Because,
for 1.
because, well, what we talked about and your funding relates on your past year's investment too. So you don't want to start doing this stuff. So that's why we did that gradual increase. And all of you got the same point. I think we're going in the same direction. The only thing Doug and I were talking about is if you're going to use part of that capital improvement fund up to, and I agree with Brian, only borrow what you need. And that's why Roger brings us a list every year to know what we need up to that 3.1. But if you're going to put equipment in there, I think you need to put something in that language that says he can use up to a certain percent of that 3.1 for equipment purchases that would be approved by the
Yeah.
board.
The only thing that I would say is the way we're doing it always does it 1 year behind. So like he did all the work he could, got to the point that was under the cap. And then we said, okay, but we want to keep this debt to
Yeah.
do equipment. Because if you do a percentage,
Well, and that's my
what
point
happens
too.
in the middle of the year if he goes, you know what, I'm going to buy a $400,000 thing because it's part of the percentage, but then construction came in higher. Now you're at 3.2.
Yeah.
So we're always saying do as much construction under that cap as you can. Oh, we hit 2.9 this year. Let's take the 200,000, go through the process and allocate it to something else, or not borrow it, or only borrow the 2.9 and say the levy goes down. I don't think that's the right way to do it, but
I think we need to find a solution to fund that yellow equipment fund. And I think that's what you're looking for. Is that the correct way? That I don't know. But
this year, this is what we can do, right?
Right.
In future years, it may be just additional.
So
borrowing.
I don't know how you fund that yellow equipment fund, but
I
I
get.
think that's what
I
you're
still-
trying to do there.
And we're
I still
coming
think
back-
if you put a percentage, say 10% on it, and say this year it was 2.6 was a construction, and you put a 10%, you set 10% aside for equipment for purchasing for next year, you're still only borrowing 2.9.
But
We're
that's where
still under the 3.1,
Yeah, the problem is that up and down then, because now we're $200,000 less on this levy's debt, and then the levy goes down, but then the next year he does 2.9 and you do the 3%, so you're at 3.1.
So you're
The levy
saying to
goes
keep it
up.
a consistent 3.1,
We do the difference.
Keep the tax
keeps
levy
the
even,
tax levies even.
Correct.
so people
And-
aren't saying, well, it went down last
Went
year.
down,
no,
now it's going
going
up,
this
and
year.
you want to ask more, and
Yeah,
it's, no, we
sure,
used
sure,
to
sure,
ask for
sure.
this much, it's going, yeah.
Okay.
It's starting to sink in.
It's, I got,
Be with-
I would say trust
I got
Jerry,
thick mud up
but-
there that it's gotta get through.
Yeah, no, I think you're all saying,
I don't overspend for the taxpayers. You still limited me to. a
Right,
certain
3.1,
dollar amount,
yeah.
Where it's
Well,
like, I'm
and
not
it's-
putting a
it-
burden on, I'm not coming back for additional. borrowing
And I
for
understand
this.
from Doug's point, and Doug's gonna, and Doug's saying, hey, Joe Tom from down there on County O saw that we only did 13 miles this year and spent 2.1 million, but we got a new grader and we got a new loader and we got a new dump truck because you underspent this year. And he's gonna say, well, why are you getting all that equipment when you could have put all that money into the roads? Well, and it's tough to sell taxpayers on equipment is what does the roads.
well,
Like
yeah, but
that's the hard sell. But they're just all they see is, hey, just fix my damn road. Period.
Well,
Um,
My response to that would be basically what you said is we can't fix the roads without the equipment. If the equipment's shot.
But people don't see that, Brian. People
I know,
are
but-
people are narrow minded and see the road being repaved and
Give
say,
them
hey,
more
I got the
credit for
road, but they don't see the 50 pieces of equipment we have in the shopyard to
But if
take
you
care of the
explain
road.
that to them, I think most of them will come around.
Sometimes
But-
the walls are very
yeah,
thick.
so this all came out of, I think it was it executive? I don't remember.
Executive.
Doug and I talked, Jeff and I talked, was that perception that we're just saying we're going to do $3 million, 3.1 million in construction, and oops, sleight of hand, we're buying equipment. We're saying, nope, we tell the cap is 3.1. Our goal at highways is to do 3.1 million. There's weather, there's certain roads,
Well,
there's
there's
timing,
contractors that
right.
they-
So we did as much as we could. We still want the 3.1 to do business, whether it's get the equipment to do future projects, get the equipment to do current projects. We're rebranding it to say there's a cap that we allow Roger to give us plans and work within. He's doing what he's doing. And then because he didn't spend the cap, we need to, as a board, make a final decision on what you want to do with the difference, which we're recommending yellow equipment because we don't have no other way to fund it at this time without raising the levy. So as a citizen, you either have to raise the levy for more equipment, or we can work within the bounds we currently are in the levy, and that's buying equipment with this construction, originally what we were calling a construction.
I think it's very easy to pass raising the levy to do roads that everybody sees. I think it's tougher when you're buying equipment to justify in people's minds.
Yeah,
Well,
quality
we're-
equipment, I think, is
Yeah.
the issue. Is they see, well, that one's still rolling down the road, and it's like with a hole in the bottom, and half the
But
pump's not
We're
working.
getting more work done because we have bigger, better, faster, and more efficient equipment. It all works hand in hand.
and we have a good crew doing it. We're tasking them with a lot. 18 miles of road preparation for our crews is a lot,
Well, our goal years ago was to do 10% a year.
Yeah.
And that would be 20 plus miles.
Yeah, my first year run the reclaimer was 27.
How could you afford it back then?
Things were.
I
a
mean,
lot
like
cheaper.
budgetary
Things were a
labor.
lot.
Just,
Things were a
just
lot
like,
cheaper.
just like now, you had a good crew.
Oh, yeah.
You guys used to have 3 graders and rolled material back and forth, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
Actually, I think there was 6 or 8.
Really? Wow.
so we've
Yeah.
we've established a 26 road construction equipment facilities plan. I just wanted you guys to be updated on what we're approaching executive with, because we do have to establish what to borrow under that up to 3.1. And so we didn't spend 3.1. What we're recommending is borrowing what we did construction in, using the difference because it's already in the levy from prior years to start to establish the yellow equipment. That may not be what we do the year after or the year after because of the conversations we're having, but that's where we're at in order to keep moving forward with yellow equipment or raise the levy. Right now, I've heard no, don't raise the levy. So, because it's not for road construction.
So we need a motion to pass this on to.
No. So there'll be separate resolutions at executive. That's what I'm letting you know. That's how we're working towards yellow equipment.
So right now we need a motion to approve the 27 to 30 equipment improvement program and
We're
the
not- yeah.
27 to 29 facility improvement program.
Yeah, we're not on that yet. So we did the 26. Now we're on 27 through 31, actually,
Oh.
27 through 29. That's the rest of those lists.
Yes.
So you guys have already talked and reviewed. So there is number 9 would be the resolution, which I know the resolution has the right header. On here, it's 1 year off, but Price County Highway Department, 27 through 30, equipment improvement, and the 27 through 29 facilities improvement program is what you guys establish and do the resolution so that if a piece of equipment that is currently on the 26 approval isn't what is needed and we need something off of the next one or the facilities
Yeah.
plan,
Thank you.
this is the future plans that you guys allow Roger to work off of.
I would make I'd make the motion to approve that,
Oh, I think I got that one.
if we're at that point.
Yeah, there was.
I'll second that.
Motion by Joe, seconded by Paula. Now therefore be it resolved that the Price County Board of Supervisors hereby approves the 27 to 31 Equipment Improvement Program and the 27 through 29 Facilities Improvement Program.
And then we'll attach those lists for the full board.
I've just one other comment regarding perception. And I don't know if there will be any, hopefully there won't be any, but just so it's not perceived that we're doing less roads so we can have more money left over for equipment.
Right,
I
and
don't
that-
think that's Roger's goal.
And that's where we have to
whatsoever.
use our words wisely and just, we're not
Think so.
doing it.
And exactly, and the things, part of that educational side is to let our constituents know that a lot of this, Roger can plan for the next 5 years out. What were asphalt prices this year, Roger? Lower than they've been for quite a while, correct?
Correct, yeah.
So next year could be higher than they've been for quite a while, and we don't know that at this point, and neither
True.
does he, so that's where
Right, at
we're doing the
10%,
same work, it's just that it may cost different.
yeah, 10% swing in asphalt on a $1.5 million bill is 150,000. Well, right there, you
Get
could
you an
say,
extra mile almost.
well, and that means we should actually be at 3 million, not 2.8.
It's gonna go
right?
down.
So-
Drill, baby, drill.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point though, Joe, that just the asphalt price alone can swing that number quite a bit.
We're on to number 10, Price County Airport 6-year plan.
Roger has a couple updates on this, but we were looking into this one. It looks like we only approve it every 2 to 4 years. But so we don't necessarily need a resolution today. Carl did give us some updates on what our current 6-year plan looks like and what's going on there. So Roger, do you want to go through? that?
Yeah, so next year they're talking pavement maintenance, some crack filling and stuff on the crosswind runways and
the other
a few other areas. And the snow removal equipment, so that might be invoiced either in 25, 26. We're not sure, like I said, at this point, not exactly sure 100% when that end loader's coming in. 2027 is a 6-bay T hangar along with the taxi lane C1 to the hangars. 2028, so that would be designed for the runway 624.
Thanks, Jordan.
2029 would be runway 624 rehab design, also the master plan, the taxiway apron reconstruction design, and also pavement maintenance as well. And in 2030, they're anticipating 624 rehab construction being done. There is a breakdown of cost to the county during the whole process. If anybody wants, I don't know if this was shared or not, but
No, I didn't get one anyway. I'd like a
I was
copy
gonna
of
say,
that.
do we have
And
that?
like we talked, so we talked to Carl, who does kind of works with us to put that 6-year plan together. He saw no need to accept a new plan unless the DOT says we need to update it. So we're just updating it for you guys so you know what's kind of going on there. But we did do one last year right before, I think it was November last year.
Right.
And then prior to that, it was every like 3 years. And that's usually when not DOT,
DOA.
DOA tells us to.
yeah. Do you know, Brian, how often that 6-year
I
plan
don't
has to be?
recall, but they'll let you know.
Yeah.
When the county has to pass a
Has to
resolution?
revise it.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, because that was something we weren't really sure on who and how often and all that.
Who forces us to do it?
So then there would be no need then, I guess, to have a resolution for the 6-year plan then the way it takes. Okay,
I forwarded you that email, so you have the
Yeah,
list.
that's good enough. It's electronic, that's good enough. Thank you.
okay. I did bring the 30% design plan. I gave it to Larry if you want to review that at some point if it's getting passed around, but on the 6-bay T hanger and the taxiway.
So we're just gonna overlook this 6-year plan?
Yeah, we discussed it. If you want to table it, it goes away. If you just leave it, it goes away. So I wouldn't do anything.
Okay,
Let's move on.
Yep.
There's some heavy
Fail
readers.
due to no vote.
Move on.
hey, Roger,
Hey,
item number 11, Whistler report.
Yep, so I shared with you the condition report for Price County. This is the pavement report. So 1, of course, is bad, 10 is good. So if it's a 1, 2, 3, or 4, the pavement is in pretty poor condition. So as you can see, over 50% of the Price County roads are in poor condition. And along with it, there's a map that I shared, which ones are in poor condition, which, yeah, as you can see, riddled down the map.
This number will change though based on the paving that gets done this year.
Correct.
It's not on there because
Yep. So it will,
some of it, right?
yeah, so it will change a little bit. So, oh,
It's down here.
yep. So everything, yep, and everything that is red and yellow in the southeast corner will be green.
Thanks for this, Roger. Appreciate it. So when we started this, we talked about this program starting, number of years ago. Back when we started this program, this was a graph that I used for the board, and I believe our poor was 79% and our good was like 5.6.
I remember when I first came on the board and seen one of these the first time that 1 to 2 and 3 to 4 was even higher yet. I mean, it might seem like you're fighting a losing battle yet still, but it definitely has.
So nice work.
Very gaining.
It's definitely the program, and the administration of the program is definitely doing what we were hoping it was due. So.
And you do
nice
the
work.
rating on this?
Yep. So we do our own road rating, just like every other county does. It's not like we cheat on it. There's no need to cheat on it.
just drive
So-
on them.
Yeah, just drive them. Yeah.
Actually,
And I don't know if this is something when it comes down to, if you want to share it with the full county board when it comes time for borrowing and looking at.
Anything helps.
Right. Yeah.
and actually it hurts you if you cheat on it because a lot of your funding depends on your condition
Right.
of your roads.
Right.
Don't you go through like a training at
So
the
there-
state level?
Yeah.
So it's not like everybody just
Yeah,
comes up with it by
I know
themselves.
Dale went there.
Right. No, so it's online training now. You can watch the video and it kind of walks you through it. And there's a manual, there's a book that you can take out with you. And
So I have a question about, so a lot of the culverts are being replaced for next year, correct?
correct. Yep.
Okay, so what happens, does anything get filled then over the period of time? Because some of them are ditching out already or not?
Dipping a little
Or-
bit.
Yeah,
Generally not unless they get really bad, Paul.
Okay.
I mean, if there's one that's out there that's pretty severe, we'll address it. But
not usually then.
yeah, I mean, that is the purpose of, putting the culverts in a year ahead of time, that so when you do put the new road in, you don't get that dip in the new road.
Later on, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like on Highway 8 where they just redid the pavement in Lincoln County and now they're cutting the blacktop and doing the
Yeah.
culverts? I
Right.
drove through there this weekend and I was just furious. I couldn't believe that I saw that.
Apparently Joe couldn't reline them. I don't know.
Oh,
Actually, I was over in Tomahawk, town of Bradley, doing a survey, and I drove by there and I stopped. I said, "Hey, you guys want these lined?" I think I wasn't too impressed.
Too
yeah,
bad.
I just
Wouldn't believe that either. Where is your head?
they did such a nice job with it and did it so quick. And then I come through there this weekend, Friday, we went to Wausau and I'm like, no way. Like,
Are there 5 spots? think I saw 5
Four for sure, I think, yeah.
spots where there was cones. Yeah.
Yeah, and you'll feel them forever now.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, forever.
Yep. Well, thank you for the report, Roger.
Mhm.
That coincides very well with the highway improvement, the road improvement fund going forward.
Joe, it all started with past administration.
That's the name. That's what I used all the time. I'll fill you in later, Roger.
Okay.
Do tell.
Okay, item 12, airport property along Elk Lake Drive, adopt an airport volunteer. This is something new.
It is, Larry.
No,
So,
if you'd have been here last meeting, you would have been here for it.
so the consensus from the last meeting was to, send it off to corporate council for review. Megan did review it. She did make some changes. I stressed to make sure that because they were going to, be maintaining that portion of the property, by no means is that they can take ownership of the property. And either way, it's a year agreement. We can terminate the agreement at any point, if either party is not happy with one another. The verbiage, I mean, as far as any county being liable for them personally or any equipment they use on the property to maintain the property, the county's not liable. And like I said, it all comes down to, they'd rather see the property maintained to a little higher standard than what we do. This also gives them the ability to maintain the access road to their property, which normally
this property once was theirs.
Yes.
So, yep.
Yep.
Well, I was a little concerned when this was first brought up, but I'm content with what's being done here. So thanks for all your input. I see no reason why we can't move forward with it.
Yeah, and we would work cooperatively with them. I mean, there might be some areas where we might still have to hit it with our tractor, but it would be less area that we would have to maintain and the county would spend money on.
I agree. I think we should move forward with it too.
So did they sell this land to us?
Yes.
We
They
took
did.
it.
Oh, pretty much,
Or
right?
You
There
know,
was-
for navigation.
Got it.
Brian, that sounds so harsh.
I was gonna say that, but I thought, well,
Sometimes
that's
you gotta-
kind of, yeah.
Simplistic. Say it
Yeah.
the way it is.
The process is available to us to take.
Well, I mean,
It had to be. I realize that.
that's the approach to the runway. Yeah.
Yeah,
They sold it to us.
They got a fair price for it.
I bet they
Oh, yeah.
did.
I echo Larry's thoughts. At first I was against it, but reading through it, I think we're covered.
I do too.
I do too. I'm comfortable with it.
Yeah, you covered a lot of things I had questions about, and so it looks
Yeah.
good.
No, Megan did a good job. She reviewed it. She made a lot of changes. She did a very good job on it. And there again, I mean, they have to record, what they're doing on the property. Anything major changes, anything that they want to do has to come through me. If I feel it's really severe, I'll bring it to you as well to review. So,
So if they don't agree to this, then it's null and void.
correct.
Mhm.
Yep. We're not forcing them to do it.
Yep.
It's both.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion by Doug, seconded by Paula. Any further discussion?
I would say the motion is to allow this to happen because you're not really approving.
Not a
the
resolution.
document.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a resolution, just
No.
motion to allow whatever, what do they call them, volunteer?
Yeah, adopt the airport.
Just something that it allows us to do it because really we'll manage that contract through Roger.
Meredith will make us sound good.
I think it's
Approve the contract proposed
Yeah, so, well, you're allowing this to happen.
as presented.
That's basically a permit. It's a permit to maintain.
Motion to allow this to happen via the permit presented.
What makes it?
Any
Usually
further
just say what I
discussion?
need to know, yeah.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. That worked well through that.
Yeah, I think so too.
Department reports, Roger.
Yep, so, myself, I started, working on applications for STP for a bridge on County Highway I, and then an STP application for, County Highway H. I'm gonna put in for there. So the whole bridge program is still, the bridge replacement program, I should say, got kind of changed around. So some of the bridges are kind of hanging out in limbo right now. There's a lot of confusion on what can be replaced. So we've been working on that as far as the WCHA thing. We're not really happy with how the DOT redid their things. Just overseeing all the projects through the state, the county, and all together. But so airport, they had the hamburger social. They had 22 airplanes attending. It was a good turnout, I think.
That must have been a pretty good turnout and whatnot, huh?
It was. I heard there was a lot of conspiracy theories on what was going on at the airport that day because there's so many airplanes. Right.
I must have missed the invite, but that's all right. I wouldn't probably make it, but I just, I thought that was, when I seen it, I was like, oh my goodness, like that seemed like a
It's
lot
for
of planes
airplane.
compared to last year.
Owners.
What's it? What's it?
Fair. You
I feel like
you're supposed to
normally-
fly in to
No, I feel like
be a
normally Mike would
participant.
mention it.
I'm
when
just
we're
kidding.
on,
Yeah.
I got wings. They call me Big Bird.
Did you
Right,
attend,
and-
Brian?
Hmm?
Did you attend?
No, I did not.
I know a few years ago we were talking about how we're based. Are we doing all right there?
I think so, as far as I know.
We've stayed at the same, I can't remember the number, but we're good with funding.
Okay.
Yep.
In compliance?
Yes.
There is one hangar for sale, I think, out there, if I've seen the sign right, but
Yeah.
One for sure, yeah. There might be another one because that Quonset one, I heard that person died.
Yeah, I think it went into a trust. We'd have to ask. Jules has been doing all the stuff with that, but I think you're right. The wife or the lawyer's been paying that bill on the Quonset Hunt one. Just a quick update for the BFI because we were talking about properties. So the BFI process is still going, which is the fixtures and improvements. What's the B? Building fixtures and improvement. Thank you. And so we're working on the survey. They're out there doing the survey. One thing that came up with the survey is we have to work with the city of Phillips, but technically when you do property lines, just so if many of you have seen zoning or been on zoning. So if I build a new building on a piece of property, I have to be so far from the property line. Technically, when we do a property line where it should be for these hangars, they're not meeting the expected setbacks. So we're going to work with the city and figure out what we need to do on those properties. But it's not that it screws anything up because it's the hangars. We've approved them. It's just getting the proper approval process. So every time we move one step forward, it feels like we move two step back. But by the time we're done with all this, the plan can be updated with the BOA. The surveys will all be updated, which will help with our 6-year plan and all the, it's a project that needed to be done. It just, we keep moving backwards.
all the hangars need a variance
Ye-
where they're sitting.
Some of them will,
Oh.
yeah. And then we're going to establish, because one problem we had out there is the original plan established room for like on a taxiway area for 4 hangars, but then the hangar owner that says, I want to build, will come and say, well, I really want it right here. And then it would take 2 of those lots, which then reduces the number of future lots because they made a larger size than what we originally planned for. So in the future, what we'll do is we'll still make it for 4 plots. But if someone comes and says, we'll have a minimum for that plot, you have to build a 20 by 20 hangar. I don't know what the sizes are. If you want to buy a second lot or not buy, but establish on a second lot, it has to be a minimum of double that so that we're actually getting the value of having 2. And you'll have to pay for the survey to remove that or make it 1 lot. Rather, where in the past we were just saying, okay, build, we'll deal with the property lines later because it's really, we didn't have well-established lines. So a lot of things being fixed there, which is great. It's a project that needed to be done. The goal is by January 1st, all the property descriptions and everything can be put in place so the BFI is done, so that in 2027 you'll get the proper tax bill. So 26 will still be collecting, 27 they'll pay the city.
Did you
for
say the
taxes.
Quonset hut person passed away? Is that the new Quonset hut that, really? Sheesh. Didn't they just build that like 2
In the
years ago?
last year or two, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Shouldn't have retired.
Sometimes.
And then the airport had this, it was Badger Pilot. This is like a social group that flies around the different airports on the weekends and camps, and then runs around and gets airport stamps. They have a Facebook page. They have a podcast. So they actually are going to do a little thing on the Price County Airport. So there was 7 airplanes for that. They've been doing some ditch cleaning, mowing, and they got the Pappies are now up and going on the airport.
Pappies, precision approach path indicators. They tell you if you're on the glide slope when you're coming in.
Yeah. So Becker and Hoppy was out. I believe it was
Just
a week or two
above
ago.
the tree branches.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you clear those, you're good.
The muster flowage is they're on a 5-foot drawdown for weed kill to begin 9/2/2025. So that would have been yesterday, and then completed by 9/15/2025. They're going to do some repairs out there. The Phillips chain, Long Lake, Wilson, Elk, Duroy will be drawn down 8 to 10 inches beginning the end of the month, and should be completed in October, first part of October.
Question.
Yep.
I always think this drawdown thing is interesting. Why does it seem like it keeps getting earlier and earlier and earlier every year?
The DNR.
Yeah. Okay.
Is there
What
somebody?
what is the reasoning behind that? And then my next question
Fur
is
bearing creatures.
fur bearing.
Correct.
Okay.
And turtles.
And then my next question is I disagree on the lowering of the lake level for the question of our ice expansion point then is at a shallower point in the lake. And I wonder that, are we doing more damage than good from ice expanding? You know, when we drop the lake level, say 10 inches, so at 10 inches fuller, it's at a higher point where there's more area. Now we drop it down, so we're dropping it lower on the shoreline. Are we actually being counterproductive?
I've been told no.
Okay.
Is there someone from the DNR that could give us a
I
presentation?
would love to hear that. Yep.
I can talk to Dave. I maybe you could get somebody to talk to you over the phone, but
But even if they joined us like
Yeah.
Zoom, not Zoom,
Yeah.
but Teams, or what do we use? WebEx. Jeez.
so a lot of this stuff
Use
is
all of it
actually in
throughout the day.
state statutes.
Sure.
I mean, so we are restricted on what we can do. So technically, I mean, drawdowns, we're not even, we have to get a permit to do that. So, I mean, and what, you know, ultimately, I mean, you have a big spring flood. You know, it could be tremendous if all the lakes.
We can have
got
another
water
winter
fast.
drought too, though.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
mean-
it's,
Yeah.
I always struggle with this. I'm in the cranberry industry, and you always keep as much water as you can. That's our philosophy, and I see what ice can do on our reservoirs and canals and stuff. And to me, at the fullest point, it's the safest place for the ice to be, expansion wise. When you drop it down and it expands, you're eroding shore at a lower level, you know, is my questioning. So I don't know. Like I said, if there would be someone that would be willing to come and discuss it or talk about it, I would greatly appreciate it. Like I said,
No, I think, you know, on most of these lakes, I mean, you have a lot of people with manicured lawns and things on their shoreline that
Mhm.
if we were kept full and the ice did their expansion, and
sure.
it would cause probably more
Yeah.
damage on their shoreline
Sure.
than if it was lower. And it was, you know, 3 years ago when we had that 120-inch snow base that went out in 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
Dave had a pretty hard time trying to maintain what was going on, and there was docks going through the dams and everything else was getting stuck in there.
Yeah.
You know, at least we had a little bit of capacity for a little while,
Mhm.
but, and it's more for us as the capacity to,
Sure.
on those spring thaws, but
Okay.
the date, and we actually, I believe Dave got it pushed back a little bit. They did want the drawdown sooner. if
Well, I
we
feel
did
like the
draw.
drawdown used to be the third week in October,
It
or
was.
late October, and then all of a sudden now I seen it come out and it's in September, and it's like, wait, what? Like,
Yeah,
so okay.
there
that's all.
there is some,
Questions that I got from outside
yeah, so
and
there is
from my
some
own interior
fighting with,
thinking.
you know, Lake Association members with the DNR right now too,
Sure.
but that's out of our hands ultimately,
Don't know the answer if you don't ask a question, right?
right?
Even if the DNR could come and just say statutorily, here's where it's covered, like, not saying you don't look into it or Dave or whoever, it's just, sometimes it is nice to hear it from those who are requiring us, so it's
You know,
clarified.
and there is, you know, we're gonna be changing another culvert for the town of Elk, and it helps us, you know, when the lakes are down, for us to do our work in the fall, when you're going around that area, but Solberg and Sailor Creek will be drawn down 6 inches at the same time. The highway crew, they rough paved 900 tons of mix on County Highway N. They did some spray patching on D, F, and H. They crack filled 15 miles of W. Crack filled bridge approaches and manhole covers. Did 2 additional days down on Highway 13 in Ogama. We had some LFA money left that we had to burn up yet. We've been grading D, R, R, C, and M twice a week. Did boom mowing on 86. Ditching on County Highway D, which they're still continuing on this week and probably the rest of the month. Changed 2 deep culverts on D. Shouldered a half a mile for the town of Elk. Shouldered the new Solberg Lake Park. Installed ATV signs on 13, so that route is open now. And they changed 1 culvert for the town of Knox. In the shop, Dan is preparing RFPs for the next 2 truck and chassis builds. Putting out the RFP for winter blade orders. Hopefully, metal prices didn't change much as far as that goes with. And then the 2 truck chassis that are at Universal, expected to be delivered late this year. So, hopefully before January anyway. Other than that, all the guys in the shop have been just working on maintaining what we got. Nothing new and exciting in the shop, so.
Okay, thank you, Roger. Are there any other questions for Roger on the reports? If not, I'll accept it. Vouchers, have they all been around?
I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers as presented.
Motion by Jordan,
I'll second that.
second by Joe to approve the vouchers. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We'd like to schedule a date for our fall road tour. It won't work for our regular October meeting, but we'd like to have it later on in the month. Are there any dates that you would suggest, Roger?
I would say, I mean, as far as when it comes to, if we're stopping for lunch, like a Tuesday or Wednesday would probably be preferable. Most places aren't open on a Monday. I would think that the later in October would be the best. I mean, most of our stuff should be wrapped up by then, I guess, you know, as far as like shouldering, things like that. I don't know if we get line painting in or not. Unless you'd want to do something in early November, I guess it's up to you, but
I don't think I'd want to take a chance on that.
sure.
Well, you don't want to be slipping around in a bus?
Yeah.
Like the 29th?
What day of the week would that be?
Wednesday?
Wednesday?
I'd like to go a little earlier than that, Cattle League week.
Cattle week.
Yeah.
The week before that, I'm shocked because my daughter has appointments in Madison on Wednesday and Thursday. So, and then much earlier than that, we get into harvest for me.
You gotta bring your cattle down from the mountains that week.
I got a baby, those buggers this year, they gotta get special bubble wrap for hauling.
So did you say Tuesdays are good? Or you'd rather not? How about Tuesday the 21st, Jordan?
I think. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, there you
Yeah.
The
go.
Oh, the
14th is
14th.
county board that month.
14th, yeah.
Yeah, why does
That's
it do,
what I
why does
have.
it do that?
So that's state statute because we can't have it, you have to have it prior to Veterans Day, but it's also to establish the budget for the state to give to the municipalities.
Okay,
by
I knew
the
there was something goofy in there.
Yeah, it's a weird. October, we do that too. We're early.
I'll try to remote attend that county board meeting.
The 14th.
I mean, I probably could do the 28th.
You could do the 28th.
It'd do it Tuesday. Yeah, we'll go on
28th.
Thursday.
I'm free the 28th.
I could probably do the 28th.
You okay? 28th?
Larry, 28th?
Hang on, he's getting out his typewriter.
Roldex.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could shoot for the 28th.
It's only a week
How
before.
about you and your cattle over there?
I'm all right with that.
Okay.
They go on
Okay.
Thursday.
So I don't know if it matters, but the highway meeting is scheduled for the 29th too.
Yeah, I see that. Why?
So the reason that one gets bumped up is because the November board meeting's so early, and in order to have everybody before it, we didn't have the first Wednesday of the month was.
Can we slip a quick meeting in? on the
Yeah.
28th?
Yeah, we
That's
could,
what I was gonna
if we
suggest.
do it. Doug, what time?
You could do
can
both the
Can you do
28th
7
and call
or
it-
not
Oh.
till,
No.
not till 8?
Until 8:30.
8:30?
No.
That cuts into our tour.
Well, unless I'm taking off. No, if we're doing that tour early, I can take off.
Yeah.
Are we looking for a bus this year? Is that your plan or no?
You know, the last 2 years, this committee is usually the only that attends. I mean, it's hard to get anybody.
It's hard to hear anybody talking, on the bus. Yeah, there you go.
Well, it wouldn't be bad if the BART bus didn't go clang, 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 clang as you rounded the corners.
Oh, that's
You
true.
do that again for me? I want to record that.
That's-
Yeah. Well, it is recorded. Yeah.
It's
Seriously, you've been on the bus, haven't you? Like,
Yeah.
my goodness. Yeah. A couple years ago, I thought on County Road S that we were gonna lose her.
But if we don't sit real close to Roger, we can't hear, talking.
So I guess if we don't do a bus, what's the idea? A couple
Stretch
crew
limo.
cab county trucks, or what are we thinking?
Medford Motors.
Well, Medford Motors got
Oh, yeah.
those multi-passenger vans. That.
What about our school district?
I don't know if they rent them all.
Is that something that? the
I
county-
don't. I don't know. Yeah,
We want to
just,
make sure everybody can ride on the same vehicle.
yeah.
Right.
Otherwise, we'd have to have CBs in there that we could talk back and forth. with.
Yeah.
Meredith, you have a big van.
Yeah.
Those are only 10.
Just so you know, Jordan, somebody messaged me saying that sound made them think something went really wrong in the meeting.
Nope, just the BART bus last year.
So are we looking for the 28th or are we going for the 29th for the meeting? as
You could
well?
do both on the 28th and just
Yeah.
Yeah, we could.
cancel
Okay.
the 29th because I don't
Sure.
think there's a lot coming up. You'll still have your October 1st. I think it's October 1st.
I won't be here.
Oh, that's right.
No, we were planning on canceling that.
Okay.
Good. Okay.
Good.
Well, that's the middle of harvest. No one does work for me.
Got it.
So if we have some stuff, we can do a quick meeting at the garage or wherever you guys did it last time.
Yeah.
I don't know of anything coming up that we'd have to.
So 28th, you want to do 7:30 for the meeting? And I think we usually reschedule some time for a shop tour, but I think we basically kind of see the same things. I think we could probably skip that and get to the road tour. That might be slightly large. Coffee bar, coffee bar.
Really feel the bounce then.
Okay, 7 o'clock, you said? 7:30? Seven?
7 or 7:30?
Well, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'll take off.
Okay.
So you can start
You're gonna
whenever.
take off, Doug?
Yeah, I'll take off. that day.
Okay, let's start at 7 AM.
Okay, sounds good.
You guys say the 28th.
Right.
28th. At the highway shop. Okay, our date of October 1st has been canceled. We've exhausted our agenda, so I'll declare the meeting adjourned.
All right.